What up, family? It's your boy SNTV back at y'all with another Chiraq Street Legends. And this episode is going to be about none other than Ceday, aka 22 Shots.
I ain't playing with his ass, I'ma drop him quick.
Ceday comes from that 600 set. They BDs, located from 59th and Calumet to 60th and King Drive. They clicked up with O Block, Front Street, THF, Blackgate, and a few more BD sets. They beef with Gyro City, STL, Taekwon World, and their main beef is with 051 Young Money and MOB. Ceday, like his older brother Cdai, originally came from the 6217 buildings that were located on 62nd and Calumet, also known as the Randolph Towers. A lot of well-known BDs are from the towers as well. Ceday would eventually become a psychopath, but it wasn't always like that. At one point, he was infatuated with sports and had a love for basketball, but it wasn't long before the streets started to outweigh the sports, and Ceday would start going to jail. .600 was created by Lil Boo and D-Thang, who were super savages. It's been said that the only way that you could be a real 600 member was to catch a body, and when it came to catching bodies, Ceday was at the forefront.
Like, before I even shot a gun, bro, I went on 10 hits with D-Thang. And Lil Boo and Ceday, I'm talking about 10. I'm talking about I'm sitting behind the garbage, half a block away. Voting, yeah, we right here, woo-woo, me and Nine and Rose and Mac, we voting them half a block away. Change this shit, you feel me? And we just like...
On November 10th, 2011, it was said that Ceday got out on FYB Tutu after catching him in the alley smoking, and it was said by Ceday at least a dozen times. Not only did Ceday have an addiction for killing, but he had a Twitter addiction as well. Ceday would get on Twitter and tell on himself Monday through Saturday and twice on Sundays.
Teen found dead in Southside Alley. A 17-year-old boy was found dead in an alley after being shot in the head and torso Thursday night in the West Woodlawn neighborhood. Police found him in alley the 6200 block of South Eberhard Avenue at about 10 p.m., according to a Chicago police release. Chicago Police News Affairs officer John Mirabelli said a man walking his dog found the boy and called police. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office identified him Carlton Archer, of the 6500 block of South Rhodes Avenue.
It has also been said that after killing him, allegedly, Ceday went and shot up his funeral. Ceday prided himself on being one of the top shooters from 600. With that title came respect and fear. It was evident that Ceday was intoxicated by the power that came with the streets. Ceday got to the point where for him, killing felt like sex. .051 Fathead was another notable body that Ceday allegedly caught and often bragged about it. It was said that the murder of Fats is the main reason L.A. Capone died. On June 22nd, 2012, Fats was walking to the store with one of his girl cousins. What she ended up having to witness was horrific. The witness stated that she left her house with Antonio Davis and they were heading to the corner store at 69th and Emerald. She stated as they were walking westbound on 70th Street, she saw a newer model light gray van. Both the driver and passenger were staring at them. The van then proceeded northbound on Union towards 69th Street. The witness then stated as they continued to walk westbound on 70th Street, a male black with a hooded sweatshirt, whom was recognized as the passenger to the gray van, shot Antonio Davis once from behind. She stated that she ran, and as she looked back, she saw Antonio Davis was on the ground, and the shooter stood over his body and shot him several more times. When the crime lab arrived on the scene and removed the aforementioned cover that was over the victim's body, the victim was observed laying on his right side with his head facing east and his feet pointed west. RDs observed 6 .40 caliber cartridge casings scattered around Davis as well. 2 of the casings were located near the area of the victim's head. 3 other casings were essentially located around the lower half of the victim's body. Other cases were located on top of the north curb near the victim's head. RDs also observed a fire bullet near the victim's head and another fire bullet and some blood that was near the victim's face. Furthermore, RDs observed another fire bullet that was near the crotch area of the victim. RDs observed gunshot wounds to the lower back, left side, and upper right chest of the victim. RDs also discovered a gunshot wound to the right side of his head, with an exit wound on the left rear of his head, the back of the left hand, right wrist, and right upper thigh. After the murder of 051 Fats, the war between 600 and 051 would get way worse, because not only did they kill Fats, who was a well-loved young member of 051, but it was the way that they did him. After they shot him from the car, they walked over him and stood over him and shot him in his face a couple more times. They also tried to shoot him in his scrotum area. You could tell because of the fire mark that were left in the concrete by his head and by his genital area. So it seemed like that whoever did this, it was personal. Ceday allegedly left his phone in the getaway van on the 051 Fats hit, not to mention letting Ron OJ told on him as well. Ceday would end up being picked up and charged, but let go because according to CPD, they didn't have enough evidence. Ceday was simply one of the most reckless members of one of the most reckless cliques that Chicago has ever seen. When Tricks got killed, Ceday didn't even acknowledge him because he didn't have a body. On the morning of February 22nd, 2014, Ceday's life would change forever. On the night of February 21st, 2014, defendants attended a party at 39th Street and Wentworth Avenue in the Wentworth Gardens housing project. Massey wore a tiger striped jogging suit and Ely wore a Burberry shirt and white pants. Also attending the party were Caprice Johns, Jasmine Brown, Jermonte Carpenter, Takia Herbert, and Jerome Anderson. Defendants left the party with Herbert in Herbert's van. After they left, Johns, who remained at the party, got into an argument with a group of women known as Pretty in Pink because Johns disliked the song that was being played. As they argued, someone fired a gun into the air multiple times. Johns did not see who fired the shots, but she guessed that the shooter wanted to stop the argument because it was too loud. The gunshots did not hit anyone. After the altercation, Johns left the party with Brown, Carpenter, and Anderson. They left in John's car, with Anderson driving. Carpenter made a phone call to either Massey or Ely, who were still with Herbert in her van, and told them about the altercation at the party. Carpenter put the cell on speakerphone, and Brown could hear Ely's voice, which she recognized on the other end. Anderson drove to Wendy's, where they met up with a red car in Herbert's van. Ely and Massey exited the van and got into the red car, along with a man named D. Rose. A fourth man, unidentified at trial, was the driver. The three vehicles drove back toward Wentworth Gardens in a convoy. First the red car, then Herbert's van, then John's car. According to Johns, they intended to see who shot at them and deal with the matter. Meanwhile, LaToya Adams was visiting her mother in Wentworth Gardens around 3 a.m. on the morning of February 2nd. She called for a taxi to go to a friend's house. Boyd, who was driving the car that contained no outside indication that it was a vehicle for hire, was dispatched to the car. As the three-vehicle convoy approached 38th Street and Princeton Avenue, they passed Boyd sitting in his parked car, waiting to pick up Adams. The three vehicles also made a U-turn and came to a stop. Massey, Ely, and D. Rose exited the red car and approached Boyd's car from the passenger side. Both Herbert and Johns witnessed the shooting. Herbert saw Massey and Ely open Boyd's passenger side door and then saw Massey firing a gun into the car. She heard 4 or 5 gunshots, after which Massey and Ely returned to the red car and drove away. According to Johns, Massey and Ely spoke to Boyd, and then Johns saw a light flash from the gun and Boyd jumping, as if he was getting shot. At trial, Johns said she did not see the actual gun, but in a prior statement to detectives, Johns identified Ely as the shooter. After the shooting, D. Rose ran back to John's car and got inside, saying, "Shit, and he's dead." Massey and Ely ran back to one of the other vehicles, and all 3 vehicles drove away. As they left, Johns could see Boyd slumped over in his car. The shooting was captured on surveillance cameras belonging to the Chicago Housing Authority, which owns the Wentworth Gardens housing project. The footage was played for the jury. In the videos, 3 vehicles drove past Boyd's vehicle and then drove back the other way. The convoy leader, a red car, stopped next to Boyd's vehicle and 2 men got out, one wearing a striped tracksuit, Massey, and the other wearing a brown shirt and white pants, Ely. They approached Boyd's car from the front passenger side and appeared to be talking to him. Boyd's car started backing up, but hit a vehicle parked a couple of feet behind him. At this point, D. Rose got out of the red car and ran back toward John's car. There was a bright flash of light near Ely's hand. Boyd's car surged forward and hit another parked car. Massey and Ely ran forward to look at the front passenger window. Ely returned to the red car. Massey followed him a few moments later, and the 3 vehicles drove away. Since the death of Javon Boyd, it's been bad luck for 600. Rondo and Ceday both received nearly 40 years. Tay 600 was accused of snitching. Ceday got killed, and everybody else is just basically stuck in a limbo. And I think that what we can learn from the story of Ceday is this: every second of every minute and every hour is vital. You must be careful about what you choose to spend your time on. These are the things that consume us. Ceday went from a good kid to going to jail to gang banging, and before he knew it, he was catching bodies out of boredom. Just like you have people that sell drugs, not necessarily for the money, but because they love the adrenaline rush that it gives them. Time is life, so don't waste it. Try to always be productive and always think before you act. One bad decision can easily land you in a cell or in hell. This has been another episode of Chiraq Street Legends. It's your boy, SNTV. I'm out. This was a post made by the real FYBJ man. Halloween party 18 years ago before the word Op was created. Courtney and Man, or Cdai and J-Man. If you're not from my city, you would never understand it, cause even when you is from my city, we still don't. We just accept this life shit for what it is, cause we never had a choice growing up in Chicago, cause it's kill or be killed. That's why everybody dead or in jail. Shit sick as hell, and the cycle continues. What I learned is, nobody wins, and it really ain't no sides in this shit. Everybody know everybody, and we all living to die. So just enjoy life while you still can. Rest up all the fallen soldiers.